Hello again, Chase the Traveler with a new episode. Now, today, I'm going to talk about if black people should go to Japan or come to Brazil instead. Let me tell you, I have strong feelings about this based on the fact that I've lived in Japan for so long, so I feel like I know everything about Japan. Now, Brazil definitely, if you're looking at it from the outside, doesn't present as nicely as Japan. Definitely not. I mean, the streets, especially in this area, don't look as nice. So the airport actually wasn't that bad. So when you come out, you might see something like this. Holes in the side of buildings. Now, this might give you a little bit of pause, where you might think that, hey, I need to be in Japan instead. But let me tell you, yes, this place is noisy, but I would say that there's a lot of opportunity here, even though it's a little disorderly. And the reason I say that is because as soon as you get into Japan as a black person, there's going to be a lot of resistance in regards to what you want to do. If you want to open something up, there's going to be somebody out there trying to resist you from doing that. Now, I'm not saying that it's only for black people, like you're only going to face resistance as a black person and no other foreigner is going to face that same resistance. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you're going to get some resistance. I'm also not saying that you're not going to get any resistance over here. You're probably going to get some resistance over here too. But the fact of the matter is that in Japan, even if you have the money, people might not be willing to take it. They might think that they're going to have some problems with you down the line. Over here, I would say that you're going to face less resistance, especially if you're not from here. So if you're from the States, you might have an edge. I'm not saying you will have an edge, I'm saying you might have an edge. So if you want to start a business over here or do something, you might have a little bit of an edge. Now, I would also tell you that you shouldn't think that you're going to come over here with no money in your pocket and then all of a sudden you're going to get things done. No, that's not the case. You might want to go to Japan and save a little bit of money and come over here. But again, you have to remember, things are not that pricey over here if you spend wisely. If you don't spend wisely, you might run out of money really quickly. And what I mean by that is, you might look at the prices over here and you might say, wow, things are not expensive at all, especially in certain parts of town. And that's definitely true. But on the other hand, what happens is, I know I've done it, you go to a country, everything seems cheap. And then, all of a sudden, you start spending more. And the reason you start spending more is because everything looks cheap. So therefore you are freer in your spending as opposed to like being more careful. So at the end of the month, all of a sudden you spent more money. So what I'm saying is that when a country's developing, the people aren't as confident. The people are a little insecure to a certain degree. I'm not saying that everybody here is insecure. No. I'm saying that you have a certain amount of insecurity where people are a little bit more humble, and you might get more in terms of like chances that you're probably not going to get in Japan. I mean, the Airbnb that I'm staying at right now, the lady drove up to the airport to pick me up. She wasn't afraid of me. We got to the apartment. She explained what she had to explain. And then, of course, she still wants me to stay. But I'm not going to be staying. I'm going to be moving on. But that's what I'm talking about. Is that people take you more seriously. People give you a little bit more opportunity. But of course, like I said, you have to have money in your pocket, and you don't have to have as much money in your pocket. And what I'm saying is that even though the streets over here look a little bit disheveled, there are a lot of rich Brazilians that are not going to go to Japan to live because they know how to make money here. And in Japan, pretty much as a black person or even as a foreigner, you're going to get capped. You're going to be allowed to succeed up to a certain degree. And then, boom, you're going to run into interference. And that's why you don't see people making it really, really big in Japan, especially foreigners. You're not going to see somebody like the Microsoft CEO came out of India and all of a sudden he's running a major American company. As a black person, as a white person, or as a Chinese person, you're not going to be going to Japan and running any of their major companies. One man actually succeeded. He did it for years till they put out an arrest warrant on him, Carlos Ghosn. And now he's a fugitive from justice. So that should tell you they don't like it. So you kind of, like I said, you're limited in terms of what you can do in Japan. So you always have to have that in the back of your head. You don't know. Well, actually, you know how far you can go. You're not going to go very far up. But over here in Brazil, like I said, I haven't tested the waters yet. But I've looked at real estate. And I can tell you that nobody was trying to turn me away from renting a storefront. Nobody. I can tell you that as soon as I got there, nobody was trying to definitely don't want to get lost, so let me just turn back. Nobody was trying to avoid me or calling people up and asking, hey, do you rent to foreigners? So renting a storefront over here and setting up shop is not something that I would say I would have trouble with over here. I just need to know what to sell. So what I'm saying is that you're going to run into a lot less interference as a black person or as a foreigner coming to Brazil and setting up shop. And when you're, like I said, when you're looking at these places, remember, certain Brazilians also live in high rises with gated entrances with nice cars where you can't see them here. And of course, there is a certain level of poverty too. So, what I'm saying is that you have rich people in Brazil, you've got poor people, and you've got a middle class. And I also think that you have opportunity here too. And I don't think that just because a country's developed, that's the best place to get opportunity. And I think that because it's developed, the opportunities are quite slim because everybody's already got their niche. And there's less and less chances for you. Over here, on the other hand, I feel like there are more chances, and you come down here with 25,000, and if you know what you're doing, and if you go into the right sector, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't start off big. I would start off small. But if you go into the right sector, I definitely think that you will, or your chances of making it are a lot better. But, I mean, there's a type of foreigner that would come over here and basically act like they have a lot of money, flash a lot of money around, and all of a sudden, you haven't even learned how to survive over here, and then your money's gone. And if you try and work here, you're not going to make as much. That's a fact. So what I'm saying is that you got to be intelligent about it. Like I said, there are Brazilians that live on nice streets with manicured trees. And they're kind of living right next to people that don't have much. I mean, some of the weird things that you see in Brazil are like, I mean, I just saw, I don't know if it was a couple or one of these motorcycle taxis where the woman had a helmet, the driver had a helmet. There was like probably like a 5-month-old baby with no helmet in the middle. So things like that happen over here. And of course, like I said, some Brazilians live well. And I'm pretty sure that the Brazilians that live in that building right there are definitely not the richest Brazilians. Now, I know this is like ridiculous to show, but obviously what I'm trying to show is that in that condo there are rules. I guess the garbage bags have to be black. Unlike where I'm staying at right now. The bags are anything you want, anything you wish. So, again, I mean, you know, some of these motorcycles that they have over here are fierce. I mean, their exhaust is like way bigger than a Harley. And the bikes are like maybe 50 pounds. So you see a lot of interesting things. Well, hey, that's another business opportunity right there, the exhaust. Because I mean, they like it. Looks like they like to drive really nice and loud. I'm not sure if you saw that motorcycle, but it was tiny, but it roared. It definitely roared. Now, I would say that I mean, at least for me, if I decided or if I could actually get a visa to live here, I would probably work at one of these stores. Just to understand what the locals are talking about, what the locals are saying. And I would also pretend not to have anything. Because as soon as you start talking about you're American or you're Japanese, they automatically think you're loaded. And the price naturally goes up. So that's definitely not something that you want. My goodness, we're back at the music over here. That's gonna let me run away from it. So most certainly, let me repeat myself. Most certainly, I would say that if I had to do it the smart way, I would say that man, I gotta get away from the copyright. Oh no, music, music, music. Man, the music is everywhere. You can't escape it. So what I was saying is, if I had to do it again, I would save up a little bit and come to a place like this and live small. Understand how people over here do business, work at a place where I wanted to do business just to learn about what it is that they're doing. So most certainly, I think that's a better option than what I did before. And like I said, there's a lot of opportunity over here. You just have to understand where the opportunity is at. And in the past, I definitely did not know the opportunity. I definitely did not understand where the opportunity was at. And honestly, the opportunity is in the developing world. It's definitely in the developing world. I would definitely say that there's less opportunity in places that are already developed. You're not going to find that much opportunity in places that are already developed. You got to go to the places that are not that developed. And unfortunately for me, I'm just finding that out. Now, whether or not Brazil is that place, I don't know yet, but definitely I would say it's worth looking into because the prices are definitely right. There's way less resistance, and I could just feel it. Japan is the kind of place that I think you go once you feel that you don't want to go up any further. But if you want to go up, I think you got to come to places like this. Because places like this, you have a lot of rich people over here that will not go live in Japan because they find the opportunities right over here. And like I said, this place doesn't look that appealing depending on where you're at. It definitely doesn't look like there are lots of opportunities over here, but I'm telling you, there are a lot of opportunities if you use your head. And these are like little supermarkets that I would say have a lot of opportunity. Places like that the products aren't even as numerous as what you're going to get in Japan. Definitely not. But there's a lot of business opportunity. But again, like I said, you got to use your head. And I just got here, so of course I'm not going to jump right in. But I've got to figure out what the best way is to learn about them. And maybe live here for a little bit, because again, the price is definitely right. But again, you have to have a little bit of money saved up. You have to have, I'd say minimum 25,000 with the right plan. And of course, if you don't speak Portuguese, I don't think it's gonna work. You gotta know some basic things, because like I said again, people over here are very aware of foreigners. They are very aware that they can charge you a little bit more because you don't know much. But again, today, I did get free coffee. So it's not like everybody's doing it. You do find good people, but you also have to be aware that you might run into that. So you have to think about it. Anyway, Chase the Traveler, coming to you from Cuiabá, Brazil. Again, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Also, buy me a coffee. Consider becoming a member. It's not easy bringing these videos out to you guys. Members get some perks. You get to see videos that aren't readily available yet. And I finally figured out how to upload those videos to new members. So, thanks again. See you in the next episode. Chase the Traveler. Bye.